Hi, everyone. What's going on,
Oh,
fans? Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you are in. I'm Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy, and welcome to this special edition of Thursday Night Gridiron. I am joined by my two cohorts, the vice president of the network, Danny Boy Reginald, and and the guy who basically does everything on the network. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him, even though we tried. Mike the Fun
we're,
Master.
we're getting the Rifkin 2028 candidacy going. So I'm going to say, Bill. All I'm going to say.
And I put in that application to be your campaign manager. Hey, you need someone to keep you in line, Mike.
See what happens.
Yeah. So, and tonight we are previewing the wild card games this Saturday. So, gentlemen, how we doing this fine evening?
I'm excited. Playoff football's here. Although it felt like the regular season flew by.
Felt like
Yeah,
just yesterday. It was September.
yeah. And the Jets were at a moral victory against the Steelers, even though that lasted literally 2 seconds. So uh it was a fun football season. Obviously, some of our football teams didn't quite do its billing, but it still was good to see some good football action. We got some down to the wire playoff races, and now we're here. We're in January, and time to go. Super Wild Card Weekend starting on Saturday. We got some doozies of a game, Billy Boy.
Yes, we do. And Mike, I just want to ask a question that you asked years ago.
Mhm.
Why does every weekend got to be super?
Uh, yeah, they got to think of other superlatives. There's the Super Bowl, Super Wild Card Weekend. I mean, yeah, let's get another word in there. Come on, NFL.
How about awesome?
Awesome could work.
You can't use insane. That's our word.
I mean, you could go with wacky wild card weekend if you wanted to.
You can. Let's go wacky
Then with
wild
a
card.
W, you know.
Well, what's wrong with Wild Card Weekend? Simple, done, over with.
You're not wrong. You're
Like,
not wrong,
what's
man.
so super about it? They have a Monday Night Football.
They added
Like,
a Monday night game.
Which I find kind of tedious, but who am I to judge?
But by the way, if you just take off one of the Sunday games and add that to Monday and make that Monday, you're cool.
exactly.
Exactly.
I,
Okay. But we're focusing on Saturday, and I'm sure Wishbone and Sunday Sideline Report will take care of Sunday games. Am I right, Mikey?
you are 1,004% correct.
And Reg and I will do our own preview for the Sunday games tomorrow on SIP. So let's get down to business, shall we? Um,
Business.
yeah. What business are we in? I don't know.
I don't know, third base.
Okay, so the first one is the Los Angeles Rams of St. Louis of Los Angeles
Now you're catching on.
against the Carolina Panthers. So the first meeting, the Panthers beat the Rams 31-28. And I just gotta say, the Panthers this year, what a shock, am I right?
It's it's a shock, but at the same time, what a choke job by the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks had this thing wrapped up. They let the Panthers back in, and it comes down to the game 3 weeks ago in Carolina. Where, by the way, Carolina, if you look at their home record, look at the big ones they got at home. That Tampa game, they beat the Cowboys at home, beat the Dolphins at home after spotting them a 17-point lead. They beat the Rams at home. Carolina needed home field advantage.
They do need home field advantage. That's what we're going to talk about a little later on. But you know what? This just really shows you how shitty the NFC South really is. And speaking of, we said choke job by Tampa, they got rid of like mostly everybody today except Bowles.
Oh, don't get me started.
No, I'll get you started. Let's hear it, Rifkin.
I don't get how you fire an entire staff
Except
and
the
the
head
head
coach.
coach is just he's cool. He's cool. We're gonna keep him around.
Yeah, that
Todd
makes no
Bowles,
sense.
dude, Todd Bowles is the epitome. And I don't say this to be disrespectful. He's the epitome of the definition average coach.
I agree, and I know he's a Jets head coach and legend, Reggie boy. Sorry. Um, but no, because you're in a division that admires mediocrity.
Yeah, there's no more Drew Brees or Matt Ryans in that division.
There is a dude. It's basically all you got to do to win the NFC South. Have a pulse.
Yeah, that's true.
So that means any of us can win it because we all have a pulse. Well, Moser doesn't have a pulse, but
He may
okay.
not have one after Sunday, I'll tell you that much. Go Jags.
We always got to pick on poor Moser.
That sounds like a you problem.
Anyway, um, so yeah, but that's my thing with the NFC South, just mediocrity. But first, let's talk about Los Angeles. Um, Devontae Adams, who's been out since week 15, he's coming back.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
took him off the injury report today. He's good to go.
Yeah. And that's big because when it comes to the playoffs, and we kind of knew that there was a chance he would come back, which again was much needed. Um, it's big because now Stafford has his threat back, something that he's been missing. It's part of the reason why the Rams lost so many of those games that cost them the division title and everything. So having him back, I don't know how close to a 100% he is. I'm hearing good things, so that's a positive. He's going to be rusty out the gate because he hasn't played in a while, but I feel like having him back is big for the Rams. And, even though they're going to win anyway, because I think they're just better, it gives them that threat they need to really make a big Super Bowl run.
Okay.
And you're adding a guy who in the first meeting had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And what makes the Rams, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC. I know standings wise they're not, but I think the Rams are the best team because they have this dual threat offensively of we have these 2 elite receivers in Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. We got future Hall of Fame quarterback leading the way in Matthew Stafford. Oh, by the way, you know what else the Rams can do? They can run the ball with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. The first meeting against Carolina, they ran for 152 yards and over 7 yards a carry. The Rams can beat you on the ground. They can beat you through the air. Devontae Adams just adds another layer to this phenomenal offense.
Yeah. No, like I think this is going to be a huge impact. He has scored 14 touchdowns in 14 games. Along with him, I think Stafford is really going to need this for the offense this weekend. He's really going to need this for the offense. So, yeah, I think Devontae Adams is going to be a huge um he's going to be a huge addition to the the offense for which for God, I'm sorry. I'm not drunk tonight, I promise. Um
For the Rams, we got you.
for the Rams. He's him and Puka Nacua. I think Stafford's going to have good targets.
Stafford can
So
have a day.
he's going to have a day. But anyway, so let's now flip to the defensive side of the ball. The defensive struggles that the Rams have had late in the season. You know, it's been, sorry, I just had my notes up. Let me pull. You know, they've been the defense, they've been oh, God.
They've been
Okay.
a lot of bend don't break most of the
Yes.
year, but listen,
They
everything comes down to the pass rush. If they can get to the quarterback, they're going to have success. And I think a key for this game is going to be Nate Landman, one of the linebackers. Because Bryce Young, one of the things in Dave Canales' offense they've shown is the ability to run Bryce Young out of the pocket. I think if you put a spy out there and Nate Landman, think
they
the Rams defense has a chance with Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, Byron Young to get home. And that way the secondary is not as doesn't have to cover as long as you would want them out there.
Yeah, it's a spunky offense that the Panthers have. They're obviously not world beaters because we've seen them have big time games. We've seen them have just awful games. So you don't know what you're going to get every week, but it's always good to have that prepared so that when you go out there, you know, the Panthers aren't surprising you with anything. So, yeah, the Rams defense, which I have all the confidence in the world that they're going to find a way to, again, smack down this uh, Panthers offense, is going to do a good job. Panthers defense is also pretty damn good. So, just another thing to tackle and to throw in there a little bit that might be helpful if you're a Rams offense. So, it's both sides of the ball. They have to do well.
But here's like the thing with the Rams defense, though. In three or four of their losses this season, and they led by one of the games, they led by 16, the other one they led in 19. And all four losses were for combined by 14 points, and they were all by just one score. So the Rams really gotta you know, they really gotta give this Carolina offense a run for their money.
Well, here's the other thing. If you go back to the Seattle game they lost, which is kind of what did it their season in, if they don't give up that punt return touchdown, maybe we're talking about a different scenario for them. But that kind of felt like a spiral down for them since that game. So thankfully for their sake, they have enough veteran leadership and a really good coach to say, you know what, guys, let's put in the rear view. It's a new season now. Everyone's 0-0.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're playing against a team that doesn't have experience here in the playoffs. So that's another advantage the Rams are going to have.
Yes, they are. They're going to have that advantage. So, because you have an inexperienced team and Dave Canales, who, wow, guess what, Dave? David Tepper's not going to fire you this year.
Cheers, David Tepper.
The worst owner in the NFL, bro. The worst owner in the NFL.
Woodrow might have something to say about that.
John Mara may have something to say about that.
And John Mara's won.
He's what?
He's won.
Yeah, but he's still a total idiot.
Listen, he's also the brother of Paul Mara.
I don't think that's true.
Probably not true. I have no idea if that's true. No idea if it's the same family. Shout out Paul Mara, Ranger legend.
And my cousin is Eddie Murphy. That's not true. Yeah, I threw one
That
of Mike
sounds,
Griff.
sounds like a you problem.
I threw one of Mike Rifkin's jokes in his face. How does that feel?
I like Eddie Murphy, so I can't really get upset about it.
So, what is the importance of experience in this game?
No, I think it matters. I do think experience in these games matter. That's why I think teams like the Rams and even to going to the other side, we're not going to talk about the game, but if you look at the AFC, it's right there for the Buffalo Bills, a team that has the experience of the playoffs. And now there's no Mahomes or Lamar or Burrow, no excuses.
And I'll say this here, and Nate Moser can hold me to this when it comes to the AFC. This is Buffalo. When it comes to the AFC, it's Buffalo's to lose. It's Buffalo's to lose.
I mean, I would agree with you if the Patriots weren't involved as much. Like if the Bills had won the division and everything, I would agree with you. Now, Bills always have a chance with Josh Allen. No one's denying that. But I feel like the Broncos have been great with Bo Nix. They're not the best team in the AFC. I don't believe that. I think it's the Patriots. But Broncos are there. Patriots are gonna be there. They have the coach. They have the younger quarterback. The the team that's hungry. Bill's team has been kind of up and down. So now they are underdogs. I will say that. But as long as Josh Allen's in there, I think I will agree with you that they are always in it. But not necessarily I mean, let's see. Let's see what kind of run they go on.
Also, don't sleep on one of the teams playing Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way the Houston Texans are going,
Houston is
Dan's cousin D'Amico Ryans is coaching his ass
they
off.
are beasting, bro. Like it's crazy. Beasted.
Sorry, but we went off a little track there.
Yes, we did. But what is the importance of experience for the Rams?
No, I think it is. It's important.
Yeah.
They've been in this situation before, especially Stafford playing on road playoff games when he was on those not so great Lions teams.
Mm.
But experience matters for him and McVay. The pressure's kind of on them, but at the same time, the crowd could shut down that crowd very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, the definitely having Stafford, having won the Super Bowl, and then McVay being a Super Bowl winning coach, is definitely helpful for the Rams team. A lot of these Rams players didn't sniff the Super Bowl, so that having that factor in is very helpful. And um, obviously, experience is one thing. It's also another thing to play your hearts out, which I think no matter what the experience is, I think the Rams have the team that's going to go out there and they're going to give it their all because it's the playoffs. It's do or die. You gotta win these games.
Absolutely. So now let's flip the ball to the Panthers. What do we need to see from Bryce Young tonight?
I think he just needs to be good. He needs to be himself.
Yeah.
If I'm Dave Canals, I think I want to ease him in with a couple of completions. We can see there's been a connection between him and Ted McMillan. But just take what that Rams defense is going to give you. Don't overcompensate or overthink and just let it rip.
Let her rip.
Let it rip.
For the Panthers, obviously Bryce has to be on his game, which I think he will be. but you also have to understand that he's young. This is his first go around at this level of competition. You also understand that the Panthers are record wise the weakest of all the teams there. So they have that hanging on their backs. I think it's mostly about, you're talking about experience over non-experience, going back to that conversation for a second.
Mhm.
This is a great way for him to get that experience. Let's say they go out and they surprise everyone and they win this game. It's going to be because that they went out there and, like Mike said, just, playing their level of ball. Don't play up to the Rams standards because the Rams have a better team. They have better playmakers. They have better coaches. They have more experienced coaches. Not that Carolina doesn't have any experienced coaches, but keep in mind the Rams, they're always competing for a Super Bowl every single year. The Panthers, this is their first crack at it in a long time.
Yeah, since
So,
the Cam Newton days.
like the for them, you know, just play their level of ball. And obviously, if that's not enough, it's okay because they're a young team. They're learning how the lingo works. And somehow, some way, if their level of ball is more than enough to beat the Rams and the Rams have a bad game, and shame on me if that's the case, then you just never know. But don't play at their level, play at your level and make it earn it, make it work.
Absolutely. So, I think Bryce Young just really, I don't think he needs to go be throwing like these big long passes yet. He needs to ease into it because he's a young quarterback. This is his first time playing in a playoff game. So I would say just ease into it. Now, we got to talk about Carolina's home record. They're 5-3 this year
They
at
do
home.
they have
And one of those wins is against the
Mhm.
Los Angeles Rams.
and they have taken care of business. I will say that. Now, of course, that's regular season.
Hmm.
You know, this is different. Like, we're in postseason. Everything
Is
levels
going
up.
to be a factor.
Everything levels up. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, look, this is going to be important for them at home. Crowds on their side. Imagine if they get the ball opening kickoff and they take it down and score. Place is going to go wild. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, they've had big home wins this year. Rams, Cowboys, beat the Dolphins after trailing by 17. They're a different team home and road. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the comfort of sleeping in your own bed, but they're a different team on the road, at home and then on the road.
Is David Tepper going to throw a drink at someone tomorrow on Saturday?
You might throw in a Sean McVay.
So anyway, so for Saturday, um, what is your X factor and prediction for this game on Saturday?
I think for Carolina, it's running the football. I think Carolina's got to run the ball, keep Matthew Stafford, Adams, and Nakua off the field. I think for the Rams, a big X factor is going to be Tyler Higbee, the tight end, who just came back off of IR. That gives Stafford another weapon in this offense, another guy to help in the blocking game for the run. The Rams were my Super Bowl team in the NFC preseason. I'm not jumping off that now. I like the Rams. I kind of like them big. 34-20. I think the Rams win.
I think what's going to be a big factor for the Rams is going to be both their offense and defensive line. The defensive line have only allowed 20.4 points a game. and their offensive line have scored 30.1 points a game. I think they're going to be, and I think Matt Stafford's got to hit Nakua. He's got to hit Devontae Adams. So that's what I think it's going to be. The X factor is going to be for Los Angeles. For Carolina, I think it's just like we just said. You got to ease Bryce Young into this and don't just throw him to the wolves just yet. Just ease him in. But I think Los Angeles has got this. I'm going to say 28-17. Reggie Boy.
I think for the Rams, now that you have your offensive weapons, Stafford, the quarterback, has got to really hit early and score early. Like I said, you don't want to get to a situation where the Panthers are in it for a bit. Obviously, look, again, you just never know what's going to happen, but that's why if you get off to a fast start and you just allow your defense put pressure on them to make big plays, they'll be in good shape. Because again, the lack of experience is not on the Panthers' side. So if they're down early, it's gonna be tough for them. And then of course, if you prevent the fast start, if you're Carolina, prevent the fast start. Put out your defense out there, which has been pretty stellar this entire year. Um, I've given them a lot of credit. And then, Bill, you nailed it. I think it's more about, playing your style of ball, and if that means easing the quarterback into the game, then do that so that he can feel comfortable throughout. Because it's one thing to, try to play at the speed of the Rams and be fast. It's also another thing where you can get flustered, and that's not something that you want to put for Bryce Young, especially first playoff appearance. You want to impress, but you also don't want to. You also want to win. You want to win the right way.
Oh, absolutely. So, okay, that is Carolina, Los Angeles, of St. Louis, of Los Angeles. Now let's football to the other Sunday game, Green Bay and Chicago. No, Saturday game, sorry.
You're good. You're good.
The biggest rivalry in all of football. Well, the old
I
ones.
I think that status is about to come back to this rivalry.
Listen, we can only hope.
We can only hope, my friend, only hope. So they've already met twice this year. They've already met twice this year.
And I believe each one at home, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
I believe each team won it at home.
Yes. The first was week 14. The Packers beat the Bears 28-21 in Green Bay. And now the Bears beat the Packers in week 16, 22-16 in overtime.
That was a comeback game.
Yes, it was. Don't call it a comeback.
Shout out LL Cool J.
Okay, so we're gonna start with Reggie. So let's first talk about Green Bay. What is the impact of Micah Parsons' absence?
Massive. And it shows because if I could recall, um, Green Bay's on a losing skid right now, on a real tough one too. And the common denominator is the fact that they do not have enough people to rush that offense. And Micah Parsons was a massive part of that defense. So,
Yes.
look, I'm not saying that the Packers are completely dead, because again, you just never know. But Micah Parsons was their best defensive player out there, and not having him be on that defensive line freaking sucks. Like let's call it what it is. They miss him big time, Mike. And you know, obviously there's no going back to it. He's not going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
They're just going to have to figure it out, but they haven't figured it out yet, and it's the playoffs. They're looking to squeak in.
And I think you mentioned he's the best defensive player they've got. I think we could drop the word defensive. He's the best player they've got. And I don't say that to disrespect or slander anyone. Micah Parsons is on a Hall of Fame pace already at this stage of his
He's
career.
incredible. He's incredible.
What he does is he allows other guys to get one on one. And that's where the Packers were having success early in the year. Then that secondary doesn't get exposed. But the minute he went down, the defense kind of went down with him. And it's a hard injury. It's a bad injury. And it sucks knowing that you had this opportunity to have all these games at Lambeau and your best player's not going to be there. And now you got to go on the road. But I mean, now other guys got to step up. Rashawn Gary, they paid you a lot of money. You got to step up. Mark's good friend Trayvon Diggs was just claimed off of waivers to play corner. Guess what? You're going to need a big game from Trayvon Diggs on Saturday night. But this Packer defense, they need to show something here, even without Micah Parsons. It's a bad injury. The timing couldn't have been worse, but you know what you've got to go through now.
Well,
You've
you
been
got
through it already.
No one's gonna feel sorry, Bill.
Yep.
That's the reality. Like the Bears don't care. Like they, they're the ones hosting. So it's like they have reaped the benefits over it.
well, they got the like here's the thing. It leaves a huge hole in this Packers defense, like you guys were just saying. Micah Parsons led the game for 83 quarterback pressures in 14 games, and they ranked third in sacks. So I think right now, Micah Parsons is leaving that huge hole, especially this Bears offense, which is stellar. So I think this Micah Parsons absence is gonna be a big hole for the Green Bay Packers defense. Guys, am I right or am I crazy?
No, you're right. They're
You're
going
right.
to miss them.
And yeah, it's gonna be wild, dude. I mean, it's wild how the season has turned for Green Bay. Now, I will say this. There is predictions of a snowstorm in Chicago this weekend that will
That's what we need.
impact this game. So, just throwing that out there, I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure I know how well these players can play in the cold. In the snow, though, I don't know.
If we could just flip it for a second, think offensively here. Like Caleb Williams played his college ball at Oklahoma and USC, while Jordan Love played his college ball at Utah State.
Yeah.
And I know Caleb Williams has played in some cold weather in Chicago. I don't know how much he's played in the snow.
Yeah.
But man, that could be a big difference in this game.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
36 degrees. It's gonna be pretty windy too. So,
Better order yourself some good deep dish there in Chicago if you're there.
yeah.
And you might want to get a blessing because the Bears kind of have a fan that's only second to God. So stop hope.
Oh, Steve Bartman's there too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys saw this. Was after Pope Leo got elected. There was this thing, the Pope's a Midwesterner. Like, my personal favorite before we get to the big one. My personal favorite was the Pope's a Midwesterner. Your bartender can now hear your confessions. Um, and then the Pope's a Midwesterner, so he's obviously a Packers fan. Going, no, dude, he's from Chicago. He's a Bears fan. Go, no, he's Catholic. He's not Lutheran. I'm like, okay, that joke doesn't make sense because there's more Catholics in Chicago than there is in Wisconsin. Wisconsin has more Lutherans, but let's not overthink that. And he goes, what? Goes, he's a Bears fan. Go, what? And then he goes, oh, gotta go to confession. That's 10 Ope sorries. Because they make a joke earlier going, your penance is now 10 Ope sorries.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you later, Reg. You'll find it funny.
What if the penance is the Billy Goat? You know?
He's
Yep.
also a big White Sox fan.
Like,
Yes, he was. Like that
I-
team beyond prayer.
God.
Like, even the Pope can't save you, Chicago White Sox. But anyway, the Pope. But anyway, who needs to step up offensively?
Look, Christian Watson had a really nice comeback after his injury for Green Bay. But listen, they got to run the ball with Josh Jacobs. There's a reason you paid Josh Jacobs. I'm still pissed off about a couple of weeks ago where he has 3 carries in the entire game. Matt LaFleur, are we serious? But Dan just told us the weather. Whoever the more physical football team is going to win this football game. So I'm going to lean on Josh Jacobs if I'm the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the run game has to be huge. The passing game, depending on how much they want to pass the ball, you know, if that's going to be the case, then they have to step up. But you know, obviously they're going to have to feel it because again, if the weather is bad as some are predicting, and again, we don't know, weather can change at any point in time. But you know, let's see how they game plan it. I would game plan it to obviously run it because you have a great running back, but I would also plan to pass it. You have a deep threat.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I offense can only do so much. The big thing's the defense, which is going to be a problem because it has been a problem over the last 4 weeks.
It has been.
So, offensively, you're asking Green Bay to do a little too much, if that's the case. You know, I think if they want to try to win, at least like 28 is going to probably do it, unless somehow, some way the Bears falter. But again, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so that is for the Packers. Now, the Bears.
Yeah.
What is the importance of what they did this offseason?
Changed who they are.
Yeah.
From Ben Johnson to reinventing the line, it's changed their identity. It's given Caleb the success they were hoping he'd have last year.
Yeah. Ben John. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, just the cherry on top. The offseason for the Bears was probably the best in all of football.
Yeah.
No, I believe so too.
Yeah, they revamped their offense. You know, Ben is a massive offensive guru. So he has eyes on who's talented, who's not. And good thing he kept Caleb Williams because he's been tremendous under his system. He's done wonders. The offense system has done wonders for Caleb. And I'm glad to see that happen there. But then on top of that, I think Ben Johnson, even though we knew he was a slam dunk hire from the start, like Ben Johnson is slowly becoming a very, very good head coach. You know, he assembled a great defensive staff to, booster this defense, which has been absolutely, absolutely good. And overall, with all the moves that they made, coaching, personnel, and all that, they've reinvented the culture and changed their mindset. You know, the rebuild or retool, whatever the heck you want to call it, didn't have to last very long because they made the right moves. And it's so pivotal for their success.
Yeah.
It is. But anyway, so no, I agree with all the thing they did with the offensive line and hiring Ben Johnson because, I said this the other day and this made me want to hit something. Possibly Mike. Um, Mike, I'm kidding. Um, when with the Giants when they were singing, well, maybe they should do what they did like in Chicago with Ben Johnson. And look at what happened now. And now their team is maybe they need to hire an offensive coordinator. I'm like, shut up! No, no, you know why it worked in Chicago? Because like what Mike said, they rebuilt that offensive line, they rebuilt everything, and I think you said it when we did our Steelers Ravens Sunday night live stream, Mike.
Mhm.
And I'm taking your words here, Mike. Don't sue me. Um, Ben Johnson was the cherry on top of the sundae.
Yep.
So I think that's what they did. Ben Johnson was the cherry on top of the sundae. They started off a little slow, but they just boom, 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 boom. They boomed. Here comes the boom.
Great film.
All right, so gents, and the sides of Green Bay, of Chicago, who needs to step up offensively for the Bears?
This is an interesting one because both tight ends have been really good. You got DJ Moore, who's been solid. But the past couple of weeks, the emergence of Luther Burden has been important. So we'll see what happens there. If Roma Dunzier can't go, puts a little bit more on Luther Burden. But if Roma Dunzier can go, maybe Luther Burden becomes a little bit less of an X factor. But one of those two guys, Burden or Dunzier, are going to have a big game.
Reggie Boy.
Definitely wrong. Obviously, I want to see a little. I'm curious to see what Moore can do. Like, can he continue to be the explosive player that he has been all year? And can the Bears trust him to be the big playmaker? Let's see.
I would say it's gonna have to be if a Dunze's out, I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be DJ Moore. That's who I think really needs to step up if a Dunze's not playing. That is going to be Caleb Williams' big target. So, all right. X factor and prediction.
Oh, I they just went over the X factor for me with Chicago, with it being Burden or Dinzier, whichever one you want to go with. For the Packers, I think it's the Packer pass rush outside of Parsons. Can they get to Caleb Williams and make some plays? That being said, I don't think they will. I'm going to go with the Bears closer. I think the Bears been 24-21.
Reggie, my boy.
Um, yeah, this Bears offense has to click for them to win. I'm gonna go with the Bears to win a close one, like a 27-24 type of deal. Um, it's gonna be close. I think the Packers offense will do something. I'm not quite sure about the defense. Let's see, but I picked the Bears to win.
I think it's going to be, I think an X factor for the Bears is gonna be like I just said it. I think it's gonna be Roma Dunze and DJ Moore. And for the Packers, I think it's gonna be Josh Jacobs. So, but the final score, I think it's going to be Chicago 27, Green Bay 20. Our apologies to our fearless leader, the Patch Man.
He'll be
I'm pick-
fine. That man has seen so much heartbreak in the playoffs. Like it's not even funny, dude. Like
True.
Because you know what? For the three of us over the last few years, we've seen our teams be miserable, but you know what? It builds character. It builds character. Is Patrick going to be hiding in his little man cave when when the Packers lose?
He'll just bowl.
Well, anyway, okay, so I think that's it for today, Mike. And Reg, that's it for today, right?
Yeah, those are the Saturday games.
Yep, and
So,
we'll be back on Sunday to preview the rest of the slate, and then of course me and Bill, we will have our own preview for the entire weekend coming up on SIP, both Friday and Monday. So, we appreciate you, we love you, we always thank you for joining us Thursday Night Gridiron.
and we also thank our friends at the Dugout of Millwood.
Correct, Dugout Millwood. Appreciate the sponsorship.
Yeah,
Mark
shout out
Halper.
old ops guy.
Yeah, we love you. Um, please subscribe to our channel if you like what this content is. And why wouldn't you like this content? Uh, yeah, they are.
Hey, you're part of us. We are amazing.
Yes.
Except Rifkin. Nah, I'm just kidding. You're amazing too, Rifkin.
That's true. I'm not that amazing.
We're all great, except Moser.
Yeah. Oh.
Or Nate.
Best of luck.
He knows what he did.
That man wants Panarin to be on the Sabres. So it's like,
No, like, stop
wishful
trying to
thinking.
make the Sabres into something good.
Hey, since we're talking football, you know if the Bills win, he's going to be partying for the next 6 months.
You know this. If the Bills lose, I heard they're getting relocated.
Yeah, well, what was it? We're right down the road. All you gotta do is walk.
It's literally, I think it's like right across the street.
God.
So if you want to know more, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our blogs. Check out our history. Check out our podcast available wherever you get your podcasts. And check us out here on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. From all of us here at the Sports Insanity. And don't forget to check out the Mothership Pod, SIP, tomorrow about 10 or 10:30 with Danny Boy and I. And don't forget to check out, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell.